Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm here to discuss about the cell. Cells are the basic fundamental units of life. They varies from tiny single cell organism to complex multicellular organism and is the house of genetic material, carry out all the metabolic processes and maintains life. They show diverse structures and functions. That's why cells are also known as the building blocks of all the living organism. So in this presentation I will discuss about the introduction of cell, what are the various postulates of cell theory, and what are the various objections of cell theory. Then I will discuss about the size and shape of cells in plants and animals. So these are the topics that I will try to cover in this presentation. Let's dive in. So cell is the structure and function unit of life. If we talk about this historical background, so the term cell was coined by Robert Hooke. He was the first person to observe cells under microscope. For this he used the cork of plant, and he cut the cork into thin slices and observed under microscope, and he observed a honeycomb like structure under microscope. Or he just structures they were empty from inside, and for these empty chambers he used the term cellulae or cella. So वहाँ से ये word cell use हुआ है. Cella means empty space or empty compartment. So the cell was first discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665, and he explained this structure or description of this structure in his book named as Micrographia. तो इस किताब में इन्होंने इस सेल के डिटेल्स के बारे में डिस्कस किया. He used the term cellulae or cella, which means compartment or empty space. Then there were another scientists. There were various scientists who worked on this field. Jan Swammerdam in 1658 he observed RBCs of frog. तो जो इन्होंने सबसे पहले ऑब्जर्व किया फ्रॉग के RBCs को. Then we have Marcelo Malpighi in 1661. He had observed small structures and he termed them as utricles, which are present in plant and animal tissue. Basically, Marcelo Malpighi was a famous Italian physicist or biologist who is considered as founder of microscopical anatomy and father of physiology and embryology. The next person is Anne Grew, who is considered as father of plant anatomy. He found all the tissue contains elementary structures जिन्हें हम cell कहते हैं. So he had published this book, The Anatomy of Plants. Then Leeuwenhoek, Anton van Leeuwenhoek in 1683, he was the first person to observe living cells under microscope like bacteria, protozoa, RBCs, sperm, etc. And this was the microscope of Leeuwenhoek. Then the living cell which is present inside the cell is termed as sarcode by Dujardin in 1836. इन्होंने sarcode term use की है Dujardin ने for the living substance which is present in the cell. Then the term protoplasm was given by Purkinje in 1839. He used the term protoplasm, and what is protoplasm? Protoplasm is a mixture of cytoplasm and nucleus. So all the content which is present inside the nucleus plus cytoplasm, it forms the protoplasm, while protoplast is cell minus cell wall. That is called protoplast. Then nucleus, which is commonly known as the cell organelle, which is the director of cell or largest cell organelle. It was observed by Robert Brown in 1831. Then we have the term plasma lemma or plasma membrane. It was discovered by Schwann in 1838. Then this name of cell membrane to the plasma lemma was given by Nageli and Kramer in 1855. Next comes cell theory. So this famous theory was given by Matthias Schlinden and Theodor Schwann in 1839. They published these postulates in the famous paper named as Microscope Investigations on the Similarity of Structures and Growth of Animal and Plants. So this theory states that bodies are made up of cells and their products. Then Schwann proposed hypothesis that bodies of animals and plants are made up of cells and their products. So they have similar views. Then they did not know the mode of formation of new cells. ये इन्हें पता नहीं था कि नए cells कैसे बनते हैं. So this Confusion was eliminated by a person named as Rudolf Virchow in 1855. He observed that the new cells developed by the division of pre-existing cells and gave a famous term in biology, that is omnicellula e-cellula theory of cell lineage or common ancestry. Means every cell arises from the pre-existing cells. So the postulates are all the living cells are made up of cells. Then cells are the basic structure and function of life. Cells arise from pre-existing cells, that is omnicellula e-cellula. Then hereditary information is passed from cell to cell, and all the cells have basic chemical composition, means similar chemical composition, and energy flow occurs within the cell. So cell theory was proposed by these two persons named as Theodor Schwann and Schlinden. This is the photograph of Theodor Schwann and Mattia Jacob Schlinden. So postulates are all the living organisms are composed of one or more cells. The cells are the basic structure and function of life. Then this is the photograph of Rudolf Virchow, who gave the statement that omnicellula is omnicellula e-cellula. Next, features of cell theory. All the organisms are composed of cells. Cells से बने होते हैं सभी organisms, and all living cells arise from pre-existing cells. Cells are the structure and function of life and consist of mass of protoplasm containing nucleus and plasma membrane with or without cell wall. So animal cells में cell wall नहीं होता है, while plant cell contains cell wall. This is the major difference between plant and animal cell. Then alike in their physiology and biochemistry, सभी के सभी जो cells होते हैं, they show similarity in their physiology and biochemistry. Activities in organisms are carried out by interaction in its cells. जो भी activities हैं वो cell के coordination से ही होती हैं. Energy flow through different metabolic pathways occur within the cell. And cells contain this largest cell organelle, which is named as nucleus, that contains genetic information, that is DNA, which is the storehouse of information. And DNA is also known as the blueprint of life. DNA को blueprint of life भी कहते हैं और magic molecule भी कहते हैं. So these are the terms used for this DNA. Next comes modern cell theory, and this is also known as cell doctrine. It is also known as cell doctrine or cell principle. So living beings are made up of cell. Then cell is the structure and function of life, made up of protoplasm and nucleus, cell organelles and covering membranes. Cell can survive independently, but जो cell organelles हैं वो independently survive नहीं कर सकती हैं. Cells of diverse organisms show fundamental similarities in their physiology and biochemistry. Depending upon the requirement of cells, gets modified. For example, elongated nerve cells and muscle cells. जो भी requirement है उसी हिसाब से cells की modification होती है in their shape and size, like we have elongated nerve and muscle cells. And growth involves multiplication of cell. It means जब growth होती है किसी भी organism की, so it involves cell division. Then genetic information is stored inside the cells in the form of DNA, which is present inside the nucleus. The new cells are formed from pre-existing cell. And cells are totipotent, means they have capacity to form a new individual, new organism. So that is called cellular totipotency. Next comes significance of cell theory. So what are the various significances of cell theory? It explains that cells belonging to diverse group of organisms show structural similarity, means they show some sort of similarity in their physiology and biochemistry. Then all the cells perform similar basic metabolic functions or activities, and life exists only in the form of cells, means without cell life is not possible. And cells arise from the pre-existing cells, means new cells are formed from the pre-existing cells. So these are the messages, or we can say information that is provided by cell theory. Next comes objections to cell theory. So there are some exceptions to cell theory. Firstly, viruses. As we know that the term virus means venom or poison, and viruses are basically nucleoprotein particles, means which are made up of nucleic acid and protein. दो ही चीज़ें इसमें होती हैं, and the protein covering is known as capsid, and this nucleic acid may be RNA or DNA, दो ही तरह के होते हैं. And this virus is acellular structure. It means इसमें कोई भी cell नहीं है. Even then it is considered as living because it shows some living properties like multiplication and its transmission, and it uses the cellular machinery of a host. So viruses are exception to cell theory. The next, body is not differentiated into cell. It may have numerous nuclei. For example, we have some fungi and algal group, algal genus, which contains multiple nuclei in the same cell. So that the term used for that cell is known as cenocyte. For example, we have rhizopus. Rhizopus is commonly known as the bread mold. इसे commonly bread mold कहा जाता है. और जो ये black structures हमें दिखाई देता है, these are basically these sporangias, and these stalk-like structure are known as sporangiophores, and these horizontal branches are known as stolons. और ये structures हैं ये produce करते हैं spores, and the color of these spores are black, so that's why they appear black, and it is commonly known as black mold. और इसमें जो cell होता है, it contains multiple nuclei. Then we have one algae that is known as Vaucheria, which is a yellow-green algae, belong to group Xanthophyceae. तो ये जो Vaucheria है ये भी एक cenocyte है, means a single cell having multiple nuclei. तो ऐसे सेल को हम बोलते हैं सीनोसाइट. So this is again exception to cell theory because cell theory explains that each cell contains one nucleus. Then protozoans and many thallophytes have uninucleate differentiated body, like we have Acetabularia. Single cell structure, but it is differentiated, like this one. The next, bacteria and cyanobacteria do not have do not have membrane bound nucleus or cell organelles, so this is again exception to cell theory. And this genetic material which is present freely in the cytoplasm is known as nucleoid, और genophore भी इसे कहते हैं. और इसमें जो cell organelle present है that is only 70s ribosomes, बाकी कोई भी cell organelle से present नहीं होती है, and this nucleus is not membrane bonded nucleus, so this is exception to cell theory. Then we have RBCs and seep tube cells in phloem. So ये जो cells होते हैं इनमें भी nucleus absent होता है and they continue to live without cell. So these are exceptions to cell theory. Next we have different theories. First one is the organismal theory. It was given by Julius von Sachs. According to this theory, unlike the cell theory, it emphasizes the whole organism's importance over individual cell. It means ये preference देता है large mass of protoplasm को, means जो एक supreme structure that is the large mass of protoplasm, और वो differentiate होता है और divide होता है, that is subdivided into smaller structure which are known as cells. So viewing multicellular organisms as evolving from a continuous protoplasmic mass later subdivided into cells, means जो एक supreme body है that is made up of a large mass of protoplasm, और वो बाद में subdivide होता है into cells. So this is the major postulate of this theory that is called organismal theory, and this was given by Julius von Sachs. Next is phylogenetic grouping. Initially we were having two groups, so the cells are divided into two groups, that is commonly known as domain, और उसे बोलते हैं prokaryotes or eukaryotes on the basis of nucleus type. There is an intermediate condition also that is known as mesokaryotes and has also been reported to occur in some algae. However, recently there was a scientist named as Carl Woese et al. Et al. Means co-workers. In 1990, divided cellular life forms into archaea. Archaea means the primitive bacteria, then bacteria and eukaryotes. So three domains में divide किया है. जो भी living cells हैं उनकी grouping करी है three domains में. Initially we were having two domains, so this is the highest rank in classification system. जो highest rank है classification system में, that is domain. Then after that kingdom, and then other subcategories. Next comes prokaryotic cell organization. So pro means early or primitive, karyos means nucleus. The organisms or cells having primitive type of nucleus. Pro means before, karyons mean nucleus. So the type of cell organization is present in bacteria and blue-green algae. So जो BGA है और बैक्टीरिया है उनमें ये इस तरह का न्यूक्लियस पाया जाता है, और इसमें जो सेल साइज होता है that ranges in between this dimension, that is 1 to 10 micrometer in size and lack all cell membrane bounded and all the membrane bounded cellular organelles. तो इसमें कोई भी membrane bounded cell organelle present नहीं होती है. Genetic material is nicked and present in the form of a circular or linear double-stranded DNA known as nucleoid. It is also termed as genophore. इसे हम genophore भी कहते हैं. और जो DNA present होता है इसमें that is without introns. Introns are basically non-coding segments. तो ऐसे इसमें सेगमेंट प्रेजेंट नहीं होते हैं जो कोड नहीं करते हैं, और जो कोडिंग सेगमेंट्स होते हैं उनके लिए हम टर्म यूज़ करते हैं एक्सॉन्स. सो प्रोकैरियोट्स का जो डीएनए है उसमें इंट्रॉन्स एब्सेंट होते हैं. राइबोसोम्स आर द 70s type in nature, means they are lighter in weight and smaller in size as compared to the 80s which are present in eukaryotes. Cell wall is again made up of special substance that is known as peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan जो कि बना होता है N-acetyl ग्लूकोसामाइन से और N-acetyl म्यूरेमिक एसिड. तो इन दो चीज़ों से बनती है सेल वॉल, that is peptidoglycan. So this is again a special type of wall material which is present in bacteria. The next important feature is the sexual reproduction is absent in case of these prokaryotes, but there is still the genetic recombination. Genetic recombination इसमें होता है that occurs with the help of conjugation, transduction or transformation. Here we can learn this by exon is a coding segment while introns are not coding segment. So exon means expressed, the segment which is expressed, while introns where intron means trash. So ये जो segments होते हैं ये कोई भी चीज़ किसी भी चीज़ के लिए कोड नहीं करते हैं. So these are non-coding segments. Next comes mesokaryotic cell organization. So it lies in between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So meso means middle, intermediate or karyons mean nucleus. So this is the transitional state between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. इसमें आते हैं हमारे dinoflagellates. So dinoflagellates also known as fire algae, pyrophyta के member हैं, that is Dinophyceae. Their DNA does not have repeated sequences like eukaryotes and lack histone proteins. Histone proteins prokaryotes में भी absent होती हैं. These are basic proteins which are present in eukaryotes. And their nuclei often fill half of the cell volume, means इनके जो nucleus होते हैं they are larger in size, that we can observe in this photograph, in this diagram. They have more DNA in their nuclei than other eukaryotes. Eukaryotes से ज़्यादा इसमें DNA present होता है. The nucleus may contain 12 to 400 chromosomes attached to the nuclear membrane. During cell division इसमें एक और feature है, the nuclear membrane does not break. जो nuclear membrane होती है जब mitosis होती है, otherwise normal cells में it gets disappeared during cell division, but इसमें ये nuclear membrane intact रहती है and do not break down and chromosome remain permanently condensed during mitosis, though they unwind for replication of their DNA. ये सिर्फ unwinding show करते हैं जब DNA replicate होता है. So these are some differences from the eukaryotic nucleus or eukaryotic cells. Next, eukaryotic cell organization. So these are most advanced cells having true nucleus. Eu means true, karyons mean nucleus. So as cell organization is found in algae, fungi, protists, plants and animals. They have well membrane bonded nucleus. ये जो cells होते हैं इसमें membrane bonded nucleus present होता है और cell का size भी बड़ा होता है, that is 10 to 100 micrometer, and contain all membrane bonded cell organelles. These are basically subcellular structures which are meant for division of liver. So genetic material is well organized into different number of chromosomes present in a distinct nucleus, and DNA does not have repeated sequences with a larger number of introns. These have means this DNA contains repeated sequences और इसमें introns भी present होते हैं, और DNA mostly double stranded होता है and is complex with some basic protein which are known as histone proteins and many other types of proteins. ये present होती है इसमें. जो भी सब सेलुलर पार्ट्स होते हैं उनके लिए टर्म यूज़ करते हैं ऑर्गेनली, एंड दे आर स्पेशलाइज्ड एंड आर मेम्ब्रेन बॉन्डेड एंड दे परफॉर्म अ सर्टेन टास्क, मीन्स दे हेल्प्स इन वेरियस सेलुलर एक्टिविटीज़. दे शो सेल लिवर डिवीजन ऑफ लिवर इन द सेल. एंड राइबोसोम्स होते हैं इसमें ATS टाइप. S stands for Swedberg unit or sedimentation coefficient, and they are heavier in weight as compared to the prokaryotic ribosomes. द सेल वॉज इज मोस्टली कंपोज्ड ऑफ सेलुलोज, जो कि प्लांट्स में प्रेजेंट होता है, एंड सेलुलोज इज द मोस्ट अबंडेंट ऑर्गेनिक मटेरियल ऑन दिस अर्थ सरफेस। सबसे ज़्यादा जो ऑर्गेनिक मैटर प्रेजेंट है अर्थ के सरफेस में, दैट इज सेलुलोज। While in case of fungi, cellulose is absent, so they contain chitin in their cell wall. Next comes cell size. So cell size shows great variation. The smallest cell in living world are phytoplasma cell. They measure only 0.1 micrometer in diameter. So phytoplasma are basically bacteria, small bacteria which infect plants. Then we have this mycoplasma that are commonly known as PPLOs. इन्हें हम PPLO भी कहते हैं, दैट इज प्लूरोनिमोनिया लाइक ऑर्गेनिजम्स, और इन्हें जोकर्स ऑफ प्लांट किंगडम भी कहा जाता है, जोकर्स ऑफ प्लांट किंगडम। सो माइकोप्लाज्मा गैलीसेप्टिकम, इसे भी सबसे स्मॉलेस्ट सेल माना जाता था, और इसका जो साइज है दैट इज 0.2 माइक्रोमीटर, एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द बैक्टीरिया आर 0.5 to 2 माइक्रोमीटर इन डायमीटर। जो डायमीटर है बैक्टीरिया का वो है लगभग 0.5 से लेके 2 माइक्रोमीटर तक, और इसकी जो लेंथ है दैट इज 2 to 10 माइक्रोमीटर। सो टीम ऑफ जर्मन साइंटिस्ट लेड बाय हाइड Schulz has discovered a still bigger bacterium, that is Thiomargarita namibiensis. ये इस बैक्टीरिया से, दैट इज कॉल्ड इप्यूलोपिसिकम। जो इप्यूलोपिसिकम है, इट वाज कंसिडर्ड एज द लार्जेस्ट बैक्टीरिया, बट जो टीम है दैट वाज लेड बाय हाइड Schulz, इन्होंने डिस्कवर किया है द लार्जेस्ट बैक्टीरिया विच इज नेम्ड एज Thiomargarita namibiensis, and its size is 750 micrometer, that is approximately near about 1 millimeter, and it can be observed with naked eyes, and in diameter, and it is 12 times more in size as compared to this previously considered largest bacterium, that is Epulopiscium. So this is Thiomargarita namibiensis, और इसका साइज इतना है एज कम्पेयर टू हनी बी, सो दिस कैन बी ऑब्जर्व्ड विद नेक्ड आई। Then most of the plant and animal cells ranges in a size between 10 to 100 micrometer. इस रेंज में लाई करते हैं प्लांट और एनिमल सेल्स, सो दिस इज द रेंज, दैट इज 10 to 100 माइक्रोमीटर, इस रेंज में लाई करते हैं। The largest single celled and multinucleated organism in the world is an aquatic alga named as Caulerpa taxifolia. जो Caulerpa taxifolia है, इसकी ये सिंगल सेल ऑर्गेनिज्म है, और इसकी लेंथ होती है लगभग 60 सेंटीमीटर के करीब, and this is a photograph of this Caulerpa taxifolia. Then we have this Acetabularia, which is considered the largest plant cell, single cell uninucleated marine algae. This is the green algae, or it can grow up to a length of 10 centimeter tall. तो ये इसको कंसिडर किया था लार्जेस्ट प्लांट सेल। Then we have largest ovule, that is the ovule of Cycas thauersi. It is 7 centimeter in diameter and is the largest plant cell. Again, ये जो ओव्यूल है प्लांट किंगडम में सबसे बड़ा ओव्यूल होता है साइकस का, एंड इन नॉर्थ इंडिया ओनली फीमेल प्लांट्स आर फाउंड। सो ये जो है साइकस के ओव्यूल है, एंड दिस इज द फीमेल प्लांट, दीज आर मेगास्पोरोफिल्स, ये है मेगास्पोरोफिल्स, और इसमें लगे हैं ओव्यूल्स। The longest cell in the plant kingdom are metaxylem vessels, which are present in a palm species named as Corthalsia rigida. जो ये palm plant है, this is the photograph of this palm plant. इस palm plant के जो metaxylem के vessels हैं, इन्हें consider किया जाता है longest cells in plant kingdom, और इसकी जो length है that is 3.96 meters, that is Corthalsia. Next, the largest recorded cell in animal kingdom is the egg of whale shark. जो blue whale shark है, उसके जो egg का size होता है that is 13 to 14 into 9 centimeter in size. तो ये इसका size है, dimensions है, and it weighs about 1.5 kg, और इसका जो weight है that is approximately 1.5 kg. Then the largest cells among the bird is that of the egg of ostrich, which is measures at 17 to 13.5 centimeters in size and weight around 1.5 kg. तो ये जो ऑस्ट्रिच का एग है, इसका डायमेंशन हम देख सकते हैं इधर, and it is visible to naked eye, and it ranges from 10 millimeter to 100 millimeter. And the nerve cells are the longest cells. Nerve cells सबसे लंबे cells हैं, और जो जिराफ का नर्व सेल दैट इट कैन बी एज लॉन्ग एज 2 to 3 मीटर इन लेंथ. और जो स्मॉलेस्ट सेल है इन एनिमल किंगडम दैट इज द स्पर्म सेल. और जो ह्यूमंस की बात करें तो सबसे छोटा सेल है स्पर्म सेल. एंड द टाइनिएस्ट स्पर्म is that of a parasitoid wasp that is named as Cotesia congregata. जो कोटेसिया कॉन्ग्रीगेटा एक वास्प है, इसका स्पर्म सबसे छोटा साइज है का है, विच मेजर्स लेस देन 7 माइक्रोमीटर लॉन्ग. एंड दिस इज द photograph of egg of whale, and this is the photograph which shows the egg of ostrich. And this is the photograph which this is the animated photograph which shows structure of typical neuron, which is the longest cell in humans. And this is the photograph which shows this wasp named as Cotesia congregata, and it has the smallest sperm size that is measured about 7 micrometer in length. This is Syringamina fragilissima, commonly known as xenophore. This is considered as one of the largest single-celled living organism amongst the animal, which can grow up to a 20 centimeter in size. Basically, ये जो organism है, it belongs to a group that is known as Foraminifera, और ये होते हैं deep sea organisms. Means these are basically benthos, bottom dwelling organisms. तो इसको कंसिडर किया जाता है सबसे बड़ा largest single cell organism, that is Syringamina fragilissima. A typical human cell has a size of approximately 20 micrometer, but a mass of 4 lakh times more than that of the mycoplasma. तो mycoplasma से ये लगभग 4 lakh times बड़ा होता है. The largest cell in the human body is the ovum, that is the female egg cell, roughly 1000 micrometer, and can be seen with a naked eye. इसको हम बिना माइक्रोस्कोप से देख सकते हैं. This is the ovum. The cerebellum granules cells are the smallest cells in the human body, measuring 4 to 4.5 micrometer long. तो जो ये cerebellum granule cells हैं, ये सबसे छोटे cells होते हैं human body में. These are the granule cells. While RBCs are roughly 5 micrometers. If we talk about RBCs, so camel और human की RBCs में difference होता है. जो humans की RBCs है, they are biconcave. The next comes cell shapes in bacteria. We have different cell shapes which are present in bacteria. So firstly, coccus. Coccus means spherical, rounded, so they are spherical or ovoid in shape. Then we have Coccobacillus. They are intermediate types between coccus and bacillus. Bacillus means rod-like, rod-shaped structure. For example, we have Haemophilus influenzae. So this is Coccobacillus. The next, Bacillus. Bacillus is cylindrical or rod-shaped bacteria. They are most abundant of all types of bacteria which are present in the Earth's surface. Then Vibrio. Vibrio means comma shape. So these are curved rod-shaped bacteria without any flagella. Vibrio cholerae. Then we have comma-shaped bacteria. These are basically comma-shaped and have flagellated structures. For example, we have this Bdellovibrio. Next, pleomorphic bacteria is having irregular shape. For example, we have Rhizobium. This genus is commonly associated with legume plants and helps in nitrogen fixation, found in the root nodules of legume plants. Then helical form. These are rod-like bacteria which are twisted in a helical manner. For example, we have Helicobacter pylori. Then next is corkscrew form bacteria having the shape of corkscrew and having one or more turns. तो screw की तरह इसकी shape होती है. For example, we have Spirillum volutins. Then Spirochaetae. So they are flexible corkscrew shaped bacteria with many helical turns. इसमें बहुत सारे helical turns present होते हैं. For example, we have Trypanonema palladium. Then stalked bacteria means ऐसे bacteria जिनमें एक stalk की तरह structure present होता है. So इस तरह के जो stalked bacteria होते हैं उन्हें बोलते हैं stalked bacteria. Like For example, we have this Colobacter, then we have this Hyphomicrobium and Hyphomona. So ये हैं stalk bacteria. Next comes cell shapes in plants. So plants also shows diversity in cell shape. So plants have relatively simple cell shapes. The most common cell type is present in meristematic cells, which are differentiated into other cell types. Some common cell shapes found in plants are pear-shaped. For example, we have Chlamydomonas. Then star-shaped cells, which are found in the intercellular spaces of leaves of hydrophytes. Hydrophytes के leaves में star-shaped cell present होते हैं, and they provide mechanical support to these hydrophytes. Then rhizopodial cells, that is present in Chrysomoeba. Then umbrella-shaped cell, which is present in Acetabularia. Then spherical, that is chlorella, that is a unicellular non-motile algae, green algae. Next comes polygonal cells, which are found in Chlorenchyma. Polygonal means having many sides. Then elongated cells with tapering ends. So these are mostly the tracheids and fibers, जिनके ends tapering होते हैं. Then next we have bone-shaped cells. So these are found in seed coats, fruit coats, and leaves of some xerophytic plants. Mostly जो osteosclerids होते हैं, which are found in the seed coats. So इसकी shape होती है bone shape. Then disc-shaped structure, जो diatoms होते हैं, which are member of Basilaриophyceae. तो जो diatoms की shape है, that is disc shape. Then spiral, this is the spirulina algae, जो कि spiral shape की होती है. Then we have this jigsaw puzzle shaped structure. ये एक jigsaw puzzle है, ऐसी shapes होती हैं present in some epidermal cells of leaves. Like we have this one famous model plant, which is known as Arabidopsis thaliana, which is a member of family Brassicaceae. And जो सबसे ज़्यादा genetical research का काम किया जाता है, that is done by using this plant, that is called Arabidopsis thaliana. So it's a commonly used model plant. Next comes cell shapes in animals. So animals में जो complexity, that is greater as compared to the plant cell. So plant as compared to plant cell, animal cells are relatively complex and have complex shapes. The simplest cell type is that of stem cells. जो animals में stem cells होते हैं, which gets differentiated to other types of cells. So basically जो stem cells होते हैं, these are undifferentiated cells which are present in animals. Some cells such as we have amoebas and WBCs, ये जो cells होते हैं ये अपने shapes को change करते रहते हैं, so they can change their shape and can move. Then sperm cells have a long whip-like tail for locomotion. ये जो tail है ये locomotion help करती है. Then long thin extensions which can be up to 1 meter in case of giraffe enables the nerve cells to transmit signals over the distance. So ये जो dendrites हैं, branched structures हैं, they can attain a length of 1 meter. और ये जो cells होते हैं, they are used for transmitting nerve signals. Then some common cell shapes reported in animal cells are firstly polyhedral, having many sides, that is the squamous epithelium of animal cells. Then flattened cells, again squamous epithelium, endothelium, the upper layer of epidermis. तो ये जो cells होते हैं flat cells होते हैं surface के stems. Then cuboidal cells having cubical shapes. So these are basically thyroid gland follicles. And the next comes columnar cells. So these are present in the cell lining of the intestine. Basically जो goblet cells होते हैं, these cells are meant to secrete mucus and protect the stomach wall from the acid. So इसकी जो lining है intestine की, that is columnar in cells से बनी होती है. Then discoidal cells, these are erythrocytes, blood cells, discoid disc की तरह shape होती है. Then spherical cells, these are basically eggs and leukocytes, white blood cells and eggs की shape spherical होती है. Then spindle shaped cells, these are the muscles, जो muscle cells होते हैं, these are spindle shaped cells. Then elongated cells, ये cells हैं neuron, nerve cells. So this is the type of cell shape variation that is found in animals. This was all about for our today's discussion about cell. I hope you will get some idea from this presentation. If you have any questions, queries, and any suggestions, you can give it in comment section. Thanks for watching. Have a great time.